Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. And wherever you are, I don't know about you guys, but wow, it is super swelteringly hot here in the UK. Yes, swelteringly hot in the UK. The last few days, in fact the last couple of weeks, the temperature's risen considerably. And the last couple of days, oh wow. It's not that it's gloriously hot and sunny, because right now it's gone super cloudy, but the humidity's risen. And last night was the first night where I really couldn't sleep at all. Normally I can manage to salvage some minutes of slumber, but not last night. It was ghastly. Oh God. Anyway, folks, it was also the end of the Olympics yesterday. I don't know about you, but I thought the whole thing was a fucking shambles this year. And the big finale celebration, and little Tom Cruise was in there, little Tom Cruise. What an absolute shit pile that was. I love Tom Cruise, you guys know that, but that was a travesty, that. And anyone notice that he's looking his age now, all of a sudden? Yeah, he's getting older. And he looks more and more like Sandy Toksvig every day. You ever notice that you never see Tom Cruise and Sandy Toksvig in the same room together? Think about it, think about it. They are one and the same. I'm longing for the days when Tom Cruise actually goes back to not having to run about and do preposterous stunts. Although don't get me wrong, I love all that as well. But the guy can act, you know. I've always been a staunch defender of him. I think he can deliver powerful performances. Born on the 4th of July, when he was a lot younger, playing Ron Kovic, Vietnam veteran, was outstanding. And yeah, I think he can do great performances, and he's probably got a hell of a lot more left in him when he learns to calm down and stop reaching for the stars and just sit at a table and act opposite someone else, deliver dialogue. Well, those days are coming out, obviously. But you won't see him opposite Sandy Toksvig though, will you? No, you won't. Anyway, folks, this video is about, well, the big revival of older movies playing in cinemas, having big theatrical showings, because in the last few years, that's really come to the fore again. And when I was growing up in the 70s, and I'm not going to bore you with like, oh yeah, I used to live in the Phoenix Cinema Wallasey Village, yes, all of that. But independent cinemas back in the day could literally, seemingly at random, pick whatever movie they wanted to show, because most cinemas weren't part of a chain. They were all independents, and they could get whatever they wanted. So every Saturday at the Phoenix, well, for many, many years, you'd have fantasy and sci-fi, Ray Harryhausen movies. So I'd see things like Seven Voyages of Sinbad, Jason the Argonaut, and Mysterious Island, and other stuff, Earthbase of the Flying Saucers. Things like that would be playing, and that you don't get that now. And then obviously you get re-releases of movies. The perennial favourite would be Jaws. Jaws just never seems to stop playing. It's playing somewhere on some cinema, and even the big proper chains, the multiplexes, show Jaws quite regularly as well. And you have the likes of Star Wars and the big perennial favourites. But Jaws it's been there right from the word go. And when they brought out Jaws 2, it had a fabulous double bill, Jaws and Jaws 2 together. And every night for a week, in fact 2 weeks, I went, oh God. So I lived in that cinema. Sorry, I said I wouldn't regurgitate that story, didn't I? So I'll have a little swig of this stuff. Cheers to you all. We're all doing very, very well. And let's talk movies and cinemas, because this is definitely a trend now. The last 2-3 years, I've noticed especially that a lot of older movies are getting selective re-releases, and it could be for various reasons. Obviously, there could be an anniversary of the movie. It could be our local cinema now, the Light Cinema, has these options: anniversaries of movies. They have a season called Through the Lens, and it's like a director spotlight. So you get the films of Stanley Kubrick. We've just had that recently. The films of Clint Eastwood, the films of Ridley Scott, and you'll get these things. Usually when they've got a film up and coming, they try and tie it in with that. Although good luck with Kubrick, obviously. And they have like a rewind and what's it called? Iconic Sundays. So they'll show a really older movie for an iconic Sunday. And that could be anything, a real blast from the past. Quite random as well, which is wonderful. And obviously you get all the seasonal stuff as well. So if it's Christmas time, you're going to get Elf is going to come off that shelf and he's going to be in the cinema for you and your delectation. Obviously Halloween, you get lots of older horror movies will be out. Halloween sometimes, but Scream and Nightmare on Elm Street and Texas Chainsaw plays quite frequently. And you'll have film festivals themselves where it's a lot of cult iconic movies of a sci-fi or a horror, sensibility will be flung together. Or it could be period dramas. And I think it's wonderful. But what struck me about these is, my son, he's 23, and he has educated himself in movies, way beyond any influence of mine. Yeah, despite my best endeavours, he struck out on his own. And he goes and watches older movies all the time. And I think it's fabulous that he does this. And recently, in the last sort of 2 years, as I say, he's had so much opportunity to discover old classic films. And I'm going to give you a rundown of the films that he's seen and a couple that I've seen. And ones that have been out this year and are still to come out this year. And this is the tip of the iceberg. Because my point is that back in the 70s and the 80s, you got this a lot. Then the late 80s and the 90s and the cinema chains took over and everything. All my mum and dad, big Kilt Mama, big Kilt Papa, and all my mates, parents, and even back in the day ourselves, you'd look in the local paper and you'd see all the local cinemas, which in our case would be all over the Wirral and all over Merseyside and into Chester as well. And every single cinema from the mid 80s onwards only had the same movies playing, same. When back in the day, you go, oh, for example, I fancy watching Jason the Argonauts on the big screen. Well, they're showing that in Chester, but nowhere else. So you'd have to go out to Chester to do it. So it'd be an event to go and see a classic movie. And I love that. I love the fact that they kept on doing this. And then, as I say, the real big cinema chains took over, and then all you're playing is the same old movies wherever you go. Whether you've got 6 screens, 10 screens, 12 screens, you're not showing anything different than the next cinema in the next town or village or city. It's all the same. But so for all the 90s and the early noughties, that's been the norm. But now, as I say, in the last couple of years, a predominance of older revival movies are really making an impact. And having been to see a few modern movies lately this year, I don't go as often to see modern movies as I once did, but because I'm usually disappointed. But when I go and see these movies, even the bigger ones, there's not that many people in the audience. Sometimes more than others, but you know what I mean? There's not that many. But you go to, say, a showing of Blade Runner or Alien or The Thing, it's packed. People are going to watch the older movies. Oh, by the way, in case you're wondering, some of you might know already, you audiophiles, and you score lovers. I'm playing Signs, M. Night Shyamalan's Signs with Mel Gibson. A film, one of the only films of Shyamalan's that I actually really love, and a great score by James Newton Howard. So that's our accompaniment. I haven't seen that on a revival, actually, thinking about it. And Shyamalan's movies do come around again and again, periodically, especially The Sixth Sense. Oh, by the way, The Sixth Sense. Me and Mrs. Kilt-Man went to see that when it came out. And being well versed in horror movies and twists and turns, I'm not bigging myself up here. You know me, you watch this channel for years, in some cases, and I know the tropes. I can recognise what's going to happen next. It's no Sixth Sense. It's no super spidey senses. It's no massive ability or intellect or, sort of instinctive thing. I've just watched these movies since I was a little microbe, and straight away, Bruce Willis, I was going like, he's just died, he's dead, and like I'm looking at Mrs. Kilt-Man, who's like agog at the screen, and then the film plays out, and I'm looking around the film, and like, he's a ghost, he's dead. The kid is the only one who can see him, and he sees dead people, and whenever he's talking to someone else, their breath is condensation. And I'm like, I wasn't like, wow, I know what the twist is going to be. It was more like, are you guys fucking stupid? Are you watching the same film? Are you not picking up on this? So for all of Shyamalan's movies, yes, I mispronounced it on purpose there, Shyamalan. I like that he tries, and he really does try, but most of his stuff, barring Signs, really didn't work for me. And Signs is badly flawed as well, but atmospheric and brilliantly filmed and really moody and measured and character based. And you've got Mel Gibson in there, and you've got wacky Joaquin Phoenix as well. Come on now, what's not to love? So revivals, you get them all. You get film festivals where a cinema will put on a run of, say, Tarantino movies, and there has been one recently as well here. The Kubrick movies, they always seem to come back round again because people love seeing The Shining on the big screen, and Doctor Strangelove, and although the one that never comes out, and you may have seen it, but I have seen Spartacus at the cinema, but back when I was a kid, I have never seen it reawakened and put on the big screen. You may have seen it, and I hope somebody out there has, because a lot of the big old classics don't seem to get that sort of revival time, unless it's some big, like, Toronto Film Festival, you know, backtracked to the 50s and 60s. I don't know, but all our local provincial cinemas don't seem to do it. And another film which I'd love to see again on the big screen, because I have seen it on the big screen, is Zulu. And in fact, it's prequel Zulu Dawn, which my father, Big Kilpapa, supplied uniforms and militaria, badges, buckles, pith helmets, colour sashes for colour sergeants. Oh yeah, my dad supplied a lot of stuff to the movies, including the film A Bridge Too Far. And Breaker Morant as well. Yeah, that stuff had to be shipped, you know, across the bloody world. But it was great watching films like that, really, really big, huge, epic, CinemaScope movies. Zulu, to my knowledge, has not come round again anywhere since the 70s, cinematically. I'm not saying it hasn't done, but I'm not aware of it. You get the likes of Alien, you get the likes of Nosferatu come round again, and I mean the original 1922 Nosferatu. You get a lot of those. American Werewolf, Evil Dead comes out a lot, Nightmare on Elm Street. Texas Chainsaw is always playing somewhere as well, which is ironic in the UK considering it was actually bloody banned cinematically. Let's not go into the finite details of it wasn't actually banned. You couldn't play it in London, cinematically in London. The London Council had actually banned it, but it could play around the rest of the country, but no one would pick it up because, oh, no. But of course now it's the darling, it's Tobe Hooper's masterpiece. So time marches on and time changes people's opinions and viewpoints, and films that were vilified suddenly have massive intrinsic value and big cultural resonance. And that's what I think people are going back to cinemas to see these older films for. Your new films are just rehashes, remakes, reboots, sequels, prequels, sidequels, thrashing out the same old story again and again and again, but retweaking things for today's wokey sensibilities. So to see these classic films that they're actually based on the big screen, that's quite an event. And judging by my son and his mates and some of the crowds that I've been with watching things like, I saw The Warriors recently, The Warriors, yeah, in Liverpool, and that was fantastic. And that's played a couple of times this year, and wonderful stuff. But to see a packed house of people of all ages. So you've got the older crowd that knew it at the time and loved it, includes myself there as well. And then future generations who've picked up on it, they've caught it on home video and they downloaded it and streamed it now. It's part of the cultural lexicon. But to see it on the big screen, wow. Seeing the likes of Aliens and Blade Runner, it's not that unique because they've played a lot. I remember seeing Blade Runner several times after its first release in little limited, albeit limited, film festivals in Manchester and London. But then it regained its, same as The Thing, it regained a fan base from home video who learned to appreciate it and really see it for what the critics initially ignored. So these much maligned and now genre masterpieces, people want to see them on the big screen as they were first envisaged. Although we know, like with the likes of Alien and Blade Runner especially, you know, you're never going to see the original bloody version at all. Hasten to add, The Warriors, when we saw that, and I did think, what version they're going to show of Walter Hill's classic 1979, meant to be futuristic. It really isn't. It depicts New York pretty much well as New York was at the time, and albeit not quite as camp. And but he's rejigged it so on Blu-ray and any other format now you have the ultimate director's cut, where you're actually losing frames of the film. You're adding a narration from director Walter Hill at the start, which is so boring and bland. He loves his movie. Why can't he sound excited about it? But it replaces certain frames by going into comic book mode. So it's comic book panels. And at the time, when that first came out on home video, on Blu-ray, I reviewed that. And I was defending it, saying, oh, it's a nice sort of variation. I can see what he's doing. It's a comic book drama. But over the years, I've come to like, you don't need that. And you're actually losing frames of the genuine film itself to replace it with those comic book panels. So when it came out at the cinema, I thought, oh, what version are we going to get? And we got the original theatrical cut. And wow, it looked and sounded amazing. Now, my son has seen, since the last couple of years, he's seen, oh God, Indiana Jones trilogy, Lord of the Rings trilogy. He's seen the entire thing, the extended cuts as well. So they're not even the theatrical cuts. So sometimes the tinkered with versions are the better ones to watch, especially in the case of Lord of the Rings. The extended cuts are the way to go. But you're spending an entire day in the cinema. I can't do that. He's done it twice. But so anyway, I'll go through a lot of the films that have been out on revival this year, 2024, and some are yet to play. I haven't really put them in a particularly grand order, to be honest, but here we go. Brendan Fraser, The Mummy, that's an anniversary showing, of course. Godfather Parts 1 and 2, my son went to see those. Galaxy Quest, Oceans 11, 12 and 13, I think he went to see them as well. Young Frankenstein, that's yet to come, I think. Carrie, The Faculty, The Matrix, Iron Giant, Disney's Tarzan. I don't mind that. I quite like that version of Tarzan. American Pie, A Bug's Life, Star Trek 3. In fact, I'm pretty certain Star Trek 2 played as well, but I could stand corrected on that. In fact, they often do play the original Star Trek movies, the James T. Kirk versions, William Shatner versions. They show them quite a bit. But Star Trek 3, The Warriors, The Thing, my son went to see that as well. Apocalypse Now, my son saw all of these. Apocalypse Now, Dirty Harry, Heat, Thief, Manhunter. That was a mini Michael Mann celebration. But they didn't show Last of the Mohicans. Oh God. And I would have gone to see that. And again, you've got a couple of different versions of that as well. In fact, there's 3 versions of Last of the Mohicans. So if you think you've seen the Last of the Mohicans, you haven't. There's several second and third and fourth to last Mohicans. But any version's well worth it on the big screen. I saw the initial one. Scarface, Goodfellas, a lot of gangster stuff, you know. 2001: A Space Odyssey. He saw all these. This was like the big Kubrick festival, which was at our local cinema. All these have played or are playing our local cinema. 2001: A Space Odyssey, which he'd never seen before, but he saw it on the big screen. And even as a kid, me and my mates used to go and watch that. And even though we weren't spliffing or anything like that, we were too young for anything like that, it was a cinematic trip and literally an odyssey. We didn't understand a fucking thing that happened in it, but the visuals and the mood and the music was just so mesmerizing. And again, on a big screen, you're just like, you're agog. Eyes Wide Shut, Full Metal Jacket, The Shining, Clockwork Orange and Doctor Strangelove all played. Wow. The Tarantino, Inglourious Basterds, Pulp Fiction and Jackie Brown. As I said, you've always got Jaws, Blade Runner and Titanic have written that. That seems to play a lot as well. Star Wars itself, Lord of the Rings, Indiana Jones, yeah. Up and coming movies that I know are on the radar for this area certainly. Lawrence of Arabia, and that'll be the fully restored cut as well, complete with intermission. I think my son, what did he watch? It must have been Godfather Part 2. They put an intermission on. And of course, people of today's generation haven't got a sodding clue what that is. They're like, it's the film broke. I remember when me and Mrs. Kilt-Man were first just dating. Still use terms like that, dating, going out. And we went to, not the Phoenix, because the Phoenix had gone. We went to the Unit 4 cinema. And it's called Unit 4 because it actually had 4 screens. Only from the late 70s onwards, it actually had 6 screens, but it was still called the Unit 4. And we went to see Tom Cruise, little Tom Cruise, aka Sandy Toksvig, in Cocktail. My missus loves Tom Cruise, and she loves little men trying to run away from her because she knows she can catch them. And we watched Cocktail, which is what, a 96-minute long movie, and it had an intermission. And she went, what's happened? You know, the curtains came across and the word intermission came up. Now, even for 90-minute movies, certainly on our side, she goes, they don't do this in Liverpool. And she was from Bootle. And the Walton Cinema and where's the other one, Crosby. She said, they don't do it there. What's this about? But we still did. And we had sort of local adverts coming on for local businesses. And she was laughing her tits off at it. And she never got them back, sadly. She laughed them right off and they just slid under the floor and that was it, gone. And but a Kiora girl came out and she was laughing. Like, what's going on? Intermissions. So people now are watching these older movies, which are, especially the big Leviathan ones, like say The Bridge on the River Kwai, Ben-Hur, 10 Commandments, and Lawrence of Arabia, Godfather Part 2. They're long films. Intermission. Get up off your seats, go for a piss, go and get some food. Spend some more money in our movie palace. So you've got that coming. You've got Caligula, the ultimate cut. I've been hearing a lot about this, and I'm not arsed. Yeah, it's a big artsy-fartsy, you know, no holds barred, highly controversial movie, full of very explicit graphic stuff, but it's dreamy, it's ethereal, it's gratuitous, it's boring, it's crap. It's not for me, Caligula. However, later in the year, in fact, it might be, what month are we now? We're in August, aren't we? And in only a few days' time, we have Alien Romulus. Well, we'll talk a bit about that. Well, we're going to talk a lot more about that. Not in this video, but we have Predator coming out. Predator. And I saw that on day one. I saw many of these day one, actually, thinking about it. And I saw it in a virtually empty cinema in the Odeon, the Odeon, Liverpool, not London. And wow, it blew me away. I saw it twice, and Jesus. And just to throw it in there again, yes, I saw Escape from New York on its initial premiere release. And we saw it twice in one night. And my dad took me down there. Big Kilt Papa took me down to London to go and see it. After we'd seen Barry Norman do his, after reviewing the press review, the press release of it, the press screening. And I went, and he showed loads of clips of Snake Plissken running around. Oh God, eye patch on, those kecks, those boots, those guns. And I thought, I've got to see this. And John Carpenter's amazing music. So with that, I went, okay, all right. Little did I know, it did coincide with my dad, a military historian, going to the British War Museum to present some stuff to them as well. Yeah, and also to drag me down Portobello Road in the hunt for more badges, buckles, belts, bayonets, military. Jesus, I was a big collector of all this. And but he managed to, like, you want to see that film? Well, let's go. But my dad ended up falling in love with Escape from New York as well. So anyway, I've told all these stories before. But yeah, revivals, as I say, anniversaries, through the lens, director spotlights, always a good idea. Rewind, so a classic movie, looking back over the last sort of, they sometimes pick like a year and pick a lot of movies from that year. Oh look, the sun has made a return. See, I didn't shut the curtains before over there because it was so gloomy and cloudy, and now it's bloody come out. Damn it all. Cheers, y'all. And the iconic Sundays, so it's showing, could be the likes of Gremlins, it could be the likes of, oh god, suddenly you can't think of it, the Black Hole, it could be anything. I'm looking around for inspiration. Lethal Weapon, Barbarella. What the hell has happened to the remake of Barbarella? That big, blennied, Sydney huge tits, whatever her fucking name is, was meant to be playing the Jane Fonda character of Barbarella. I'm a massive fan of the original Jean Vardim original movie. Oh, Mad Max. Now, when Mad Max 2 came out, so it's just a slight divergence, but there's a reason why I'm going to mention this. I'd seen Mad Max on the cinema screen, underage, of course, loved it. Mad Max 2. Now, it's released in the UK, certainly around here. Mad Max 2 did not play on its own, on its initial run. It played doubled up with Mad Max because they thought that the distributors thought, well, these guys don't have a fucking clue who Mad Max is, because Mad Max was a cult favourite, certainly in certain areas, and it was in the UK, but America didn't have a clue. The distributors thought, we're going to bolt it together. And of course, the original Mad Max played with American overdubbed voices because they thought that Americans couldn't take to an accent that wasn't one of their own, the Australian accent. And even when it came out in 1981, when you got Mad Max and Mad Max 2, it was still Mad Max with overdubbed voices, not Mel Gibson's voice, none of them, no, not Hugh Keys-Byrne as the toe cutter, no, overdubbed. And then you got Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, and that was playing with its original Australian accents. So you'd be sitting there going like, but that's the guy, it sounds different. He looks different as well, but he's got a strange little blonde streak. Oh, that iconic blonde streak. I love that streak. I did the wrong side there, it's that side. But I had that, I copied that for a long, long time. Now, Furiosa came out this year to disastrous cinematic run. I saw it 6 times at the flicks, my son saw it 7 times. You've seen the cinema standee. I'm pointing over there because that's where 2 parts of it are there and there behind you guys. But I did a video on that and we loved it. Thought it was a masterpiece. It wasn't quite Fury Road, but it's a different, it's still a Mad Max universe, wasteland, with some great characters that we know and love, some great fabulous action. People go, oh, it hasn't got any action in it. Oh, what? What? It's got tons of fucking action. Again, what film are you watching? God, Sunburst, look at this. I've gone super yellow. And we loved it anyway. But it got an ignominious dumping onto streaming, what, a month after its theatrical release, because no one went to see it. Nobody. Now, weirdly enough, had that been some other film, you'd have had in some of these cinemas, maybe Mad Max, Mad Max 2, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, possibly Fury Road playing beforehand in a run-up. Because you do that with the likes of Tim Burton, with Beetlejuice coming out. They're playing, I didn't mention that, did I? They're playing a lot of his movies as well in the run-up to release of Beetlejuice. Notably, Beetlejuice. And obviously with Ridley Scott, with Napoleon, and now Gladiator 2, you're having a resurgence of his movies. Alien Romulus, say we get back to it, Alien Romulus, certain cinemas are playing Alien and Aliens in the run-up to Alien Romulus, which comes out in, 3 days' time? I will be seeing it day one, and I will be reporting on it. Yes, we know it's been seen, and yes, the actual review embargo may be up today. I don't know for a fact. It might be tomorrow, but it may be later on today. But everyone who's managed to tweet, do you call it? Still call it? It's called X now. Do you still call it tweeting when it's on X, or are you just exiting? I don't know. Accessorizing. No, where am I going with this? And all the reviews literally have been pure hyperbolic or hyperbolic. Wow, it's amazing. Anyone that says to you, and they are saying it a lot, and some of these people are reviewers on YouTube. I did do it for press and mainstream as well. I did do that for a while. But now I'm unshackled. I can say what the hell I like. No editorial, no interference. And so there's a husky dog rolling around over there, laughing her fairy tits off as well. There's an intermission, she's saying. All the reviews, well, a lot of them are saying this is the best of the franchise. Are you kidding me? Romulus is going to be the best of the franchise? So it's better than Alien and Aliens? Really? You think that? And someone said, it's already my favourite film of all time. You've seen it once. You've seen it once. Get a grip, will you? But I'm looking forward to it. I had a lot of misgivings about this movie. The casting, the young cast, the fucking dialogue, and the accents. Oh my God. And I just thought, this is fucking shit. But I love the fact that 99% of the effects, creature effects, are practical. And it does look like it's going to be very, very exciting and really suspense-filled. Fede Alvarez, I grew to love his Evil Dead. I didn't like it at first, but I grew to love it, and I've been through that journey on the channel. Wasn't that shocking? I like Don't Breathe as well. So I like Fede Alvarez's stuff, and I like how he ramps up suspense and tension and really ekes it all out. And they're quite grueling movies. So if you can bring that to an Aliens film, because that's been what's been lacking from Alien 3 onwards. And Alien 3, I'm a massive, huge fan of. Very brave film. And it took Alien back to its roots after the action thrill fest that is Aliens, which was needed. They went back to its roots as being a haunted house and a lone predator taking people out left, right and centre. And it had the elegiac finale for Ripley, which it broke my heart watching that. Elliot Goldenthor's incredible score for the movie is outstanding. And I do love Alien 3. So if they can capture with this the raw tension, the thrills, the suspense, the dark rooms, and that anything could be lurking around that corner or in that shadow, then I'm on board. I'm on board the Romulus alongside you all, and I'll be there day one with it. And then there'll be a big, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do like a non-spoiler one, the immediate reaction when you come out the cinema. I hate doing that because I'm older now and I feel like a bit of a tit going like, I've just seen it now. Wow. And it blew me away. It's the best thing I've ever seen. Blah, 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 blah. And it's all fucking kids and you're like, what is that fucking tosser in a skirt? Yeah, and once again I'm wearing the ancient Mackenzie, which is the closest my family has to their own tartan, because we have no tartan of our own, but we're part of the Mackenzies, and to get that's super, super rare. And I know I've told that saga before a million times as well, but I do love this kilt, and I do wear it quite a lot these days. I used to try to keep it treasured, only on special occasions, keep it secret, keep it safe. But no, I wear it all fucking time now. So, movies that are brought back out of the grave and put on cinema screens now. As I said before, when I've seen newer movies, and across all the genres, because I've seen a few this year, they've not been playing to packed houses. None. Not one. But you go and watch an older movie, it's packed to the rafters. That's saying something, that people now, cinema goers, who are dropping off in their droves. If you listen to all the blurb about cinemas dying, which by all accounts they genuinely are, the summer blockbuster isn't performing as well as it once did. People, for a variety of reasons, aren't going. I'm not going to use COVID anymore, but I didn't even believe that bullshit then. But they home stream stuff straight away. Piracy is still huge. You know, the day a film comes out, if not before, the film is available somewhere online because they get leaked out. Regarding Alien Romulus, I don't know any more than you guys do, only what I've read, because my trusted confidant, who for a long time I thought was actually two separate people, but I now know that it is just the one person, has never let me down with any leaked stuff that he's told me. I'm saying he. It actually could be a she. I don't know for a fact. And I know they're watching, but they won't come clean about that either. They've been right. You get a lot of YouTubers and stuff well, my contact has said this, and it's just clickbait and it's bullshit and crap. And I don't tend to go along with it. Even if I get told something, I'm kind of like, I'm not going to say it, because if it's wrong, you're gonna look fucking stupid, aren't you? And I'll always admit it if I completely am wrong, and I'll be honest and say, no, yeah, I fell for that. But he's been right every time. But he hasn't said a damn word about this. So he obviously hasn't seen it. And so I have no little leak stuff. So people are going to message me afterwards. I don't know a damn thing. And I know what you guys already know. And apparently the trailer and the gazillion TV spots for Alien Romulus, which seem to give away so much. And like, in an era now where trailers are way giving away too much story and narrative and shocks and twists and turns, it's ridiculous. But I thought Romulus has gone down that road perhaps way too far, but apparently by all accounts, no, it hasn't. It's shown you a lot, but there's a hell of a lot which you do not know, and I like that about it. It's funny how talking about different eras of cinema going and different values, and when you go back to the 70s, cinema trailers could run for they could be literally 15 seconds long and just completely, like The Exorcist and The Omen showed you virtually fucking nothing, or they could go on for 5 minutes and they would basically show you the entire film just condensed, but it would show you the ending. That happened with so many films, especially horror movies. Horror movies they gave away everything, the unmasking of the killer and all sorts of stuff. It was because it was unregulated. No one in marketing really cared. Just want to make sure that people can see what this film is going to be like. There's going to be gore, there's going to be heads coming off, and wow, look, it's going to be a super shock there. So if the trailer made people jump, and go, whoa, I never thought that was going to happen, they're going to come and see the full film, not realizing that they don't fucking need to because they've just seen the entire film. And then things sort of calmed down, and they presented the story and the characters, at least some of them, and gave you a hook. This is going to happen. There could be something enigmatic here, but we've got you. So any sort of film, it was like a whole new experience. But we're going back now to that trend of showing way too much. Here's what it is, folks. And this is what it is as well. Whiskey. Cheers, y'all. So, in your local areas, your cinemas will be showing different things to what I've said there, because they've got a bit of autonomy now. Again, the Light Cinema down by us, when they first opened, and I was reviewing stuff and giving them a big plug at the time, like I was reviewing stuff for AV Forums, not for the channel, and they made a big thing of if you want to party we can bring your Blu-ray disc in and we'll project it for you. So you can have your own in-house party on one of the smaller screens there, and have all your invited guests. You have food and all sorts, like you can watch your favourite film. I thought that was a really wonderful idea. I know that other cinemas do that practice. I don't think that they do it anymore. They might do it for a kids' party, but I don't think they do it for adults anymore. Because I had this lofty idea a while ago of like, well, we could do like a film club, and Kilt-Man will come along and I'll introduce a movie. I'll bring the film. You can play it, UHD, whatever. You can play it, and I'll do an intro to it. Then we'll sit and watch the film, and then we'll do a Q&A afterwards. And if it took off, I try to get people who are involved in the movie. You see, you dream these things. We could have, like, you know, one of he played the second guy on the right in the bus queue during that scene when the monster legs it past. You know, you could have had stuff like that, or this guy worked in special effects, whatever, and that would have been cool, wouldn't it? Didn't happen, did it? No. They did do their own cinema club. They basically took my idea and ran that for a while, but it didn't really work out. So didn't have the personality that is Kilt-Man fronting the whole thing, did they? No. Maybe it's because they thought, he just sits and drinks whiskey all the time. We can't be like promoting that now, can we? No, they can't, because at their prices for whiskey in the light cinema, Jesus. No, I love that cinema. It is great. Hopefully I'm going to get the standee for Alien Romulus. Well, you're all getting scalped by the popcorn buckets with the facehugger on, and on eBay now and everywhere, they're going for hundreds and hundreds of pounds. Are you fucking joking me? I'll make my own. It's a popcorn bucket. You can buy facehuggers. You know, I've got about 5 in the house as it is, and I can just wrap one of them around a fucking popcorn bucket. I don't need to go and, but it's exclusive. This came out on the day. Oh no, gotta have it. Merch. See, merch. You got merch back in the day. Back in the 50s and 60s, they sold stuff to do with the movies. The Aurora Universal Monsters, which glowed in the dark, was a great idea. Of course, then the advent of it'd be the 70s. T-shirts, Jaws, Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, you know, Star Trek, these things, Planet of the Apes. I didn't mention that. I saw Planet of the Apes, the original Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes, on several reruns with Logan's Run as well. It was doubled with Logan's Run. What a fabulous double bill that was. Oh, I should do a feature on just double bills myself, shouldn't I? But that was great. And on that revival, I remember there were little limited t-shirt edition t-shirts of just the poster for Planet of the Apes. But as a kid, you were like, I want that t-shirt. It only comes in one size, adult. And I'll grow into it. I'll have one. So I got all these. The Jaws t-shirts back in the day, the Star Wars t-shirts. But they all gave way, didn't they? The print always, they were just transferred on, and they did not last. They just flaked away to nothing. Speaking of flaking, I don't know if you can see, I keep clocking it. There's some holes around it. It looks like there's a wee predator sight going on my left titty. It's not moths, folks, and I don't wear shabby clothes. But sometimes I wear the over-shoulder plaid fly, the tartan, you know, wrap around basically, and I wear it with a big ruby brooch when I'm feeling particularly Highland savvy. Now, when I'm wearing all the Highland, the Bonnie Prince Charlie or the Argyle jacket, it fits under the epaulet, which is fine, and you tuck it into your belt and all that. It blends in with the kilt. It's brilliant. But sometimes when I'm just feeling, I'm going to do this my own way, like Carlito's way. I'm going to do it Kiltito's way. There's a way of making that work. I'll work that out. And I'll go out in a vest, but the brooch has to be, it's going to be fucking swaying around. It's not anchored under an epaulet. So you have to anchor it, so I pin the brooch through the vest. So I've got several vests where I've got like this sort of like You know, I've mentioned tits quite a lot, haven't I, today? You know, the aureole. The aureole. Not oil of Ulay, the aureole. Sometimes can be a bit, you've got your big nipply bit, but you've got the actual, and there's little studs and dents and stuff going around that. Can't believe I'm doing this. And so it's resembling that right now. Oh God, what is in this stuff? So yeah, Predator. I'm gonna go and see that at the flicks. God, I have seen it at the flicks. I've seen it since at the flicks as well. Again, these big revivals. When I say big revivals, some film festivals only have a very small screen, depending on where they are. And sometimes there was a pub. It's no longer there. The Nag's Head used to be just down there. When we first moved back to the Whittle, because we've been around, we travelled around. Like, we first come back here. There was a pub called the Nag's Head, and they had a Star Wars festival. They hired a massive projector screen, and we watched them. They were George Lucas's restored cuts and all that, like, and it was great, but it was flaky as hell. Well, that was a pub, but when I saw Predator on a revival, that was a film club, and that was in Manchester. And you kind of thought when you went to the venue, oh, this could be great. But the screen itself, my screen in there right now is the same size. It's a 75-inch screen. We're all crowded around watching it on that, but it was still great. These movies, it's atmosphere, and certain films I want to watch alone. That sounds really bad, especially talking about aureoles and things. Certain films I don't need any more crowd-based atmospherics. I know when to laugh, I know when to scream, I know when to fucking start and doing all this and reenacting scenes. I'm a fucking nightmare to be with at the cinema. I genuinely am, for those very reasons. And but sometimes you want the audience participation. You want to be part of that combined effect, which it is euphoria. It's like a sporting event. You're watching the footy, goal goes in. You're watching, I was going to say golf for some unknown reason then. A lot of sports which I'm not interested in, but I understand why people who are fans will get excited about these things. Of course, you know, and it's that unified sense of like we're together and like yes, you cannot beat that. And it's the same in a cinema. When a set piece works, when a revelation is delivered, when a performance excels, and you get those electrifying moments. Just think Gladiator. You know, Gladiator. You will give me your. You will remove your helmet and give me your name. I fucked up the line there. My name is Maximus Decimus Meritus. and you get Hans Zimmer score. Dun, 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 dun. Everyone's like, whoa! Yes, yes. You're in the crowd of the Colosseum, the Flavian Amphitheatre, for those in the know, and it works. It's electrifying. So many of these movies I've mentioned have those moments in them. So again, people who were not there at the time, think of Jurassic Park. I didn't write that down, did I? A lot of revivals as well, a lot of re-showings. And you know, the first time, you know, Sam Neill takes the binoculars off, like, and he sees heads of brontosaurs and shit out in the distance, like, and he's like, how'd you do this? I'll show you. You know, those moments which are just huge cinematic revelations. People who weren't there at the time want to see that, and with an audience, a bigger audience than just in their own house. And I love that. I love the fact that cinema keeps on rebirthing itself. Especially, again, I suppose this is the point I'm trying to make. New films, apart from the likes of maybe Alien Romulus, which seems to be really huge, real groundswell of opinion, and a lot of people, that's going to be packed. But not many big new films are packed. But these older films are, and there's a reason for it, because people know they're worth it. And oh, Carlito, a lot of people know from Facebook and social media that I'm going to be doing a review of one of my favourite movies of all time, Carlito's Way. I've been subtly hyping this up for a little bit, and it means a lot to me, this movie, and I love it. Now, my son, who goes and watches all these movies, and he loves his gangster movies as well, and I've been playing the soundtrack to this, Patrick Doyle's fabulous score, exciting and incredibly moving as well, like for days and days on end. In fact, I was going to play it for this, but I thought, nah, that's a bit too on the nose. So, and I said to him, like, well, we've got it in UHD. Do you want to watch it? And he said, I do want to watch it, yeah. I said, well, we'll put it on tonight. No, this was the other night. And he went, no, I want to see it on the big screen. And I went, well, you can't. He said, no, it'll come out about like all these revivals. And well, hang on, they've just done, you know, a bunch of, you know, Pacino movies, Godfather 2, Heat, you know. They've done a load, but Carlito wasn't amongst it. Why do you think they're going to play Carlito at some other point? He said, well, they will. And he seemed really, you know, convinced. Now, here's the other thing. I admire the fact he wants to see Carlito on the big. The cinematography is exquisite. Brian De Palma's movies always look amazing. They've always got twisty-turny, great camera angles, great camera turns and sweeps and swoops and real fucking some dizzying stuff. He's a pioneer of visual dexterity, and so it's well worth seeing on the. It's definitely worth seeing on the big screen. And but I thought, well, it's here now. Do you really want to wait months and possibly years before it comes out, when you could watch it and enjoy it right now on a bloody big screen with excellent sound system as well? So I don't know. And he's also, because I've been talking about it a lot, he said, don't see nothing, don't see nothing. I'm like, well, you know, just fucking watch the film then. You can do it right now. You can do it now. That's a bit of Predator for you. Do it now. Kill me, I'm here. Do it now. Young Frankenstein, I wouldn't mind seeing that on the big screen as well. Because again, audience participation with that. Mel Brooks is absolutely fabulous. Gene Wilder, Terry Garr, Peter Boyle, the great Peter Boyle. Oh my God. And Marty Feldman. Werewolf. There, wolf. It's just that, and the people would be laughing, and that sort of thing. Like, imagine seeing Carry On Screaming on the big screen. Imagine that now. Would anyone ever show that? Did you get Carry On movie revivals? Do you get Hammer movies? Will play. I didn't write that down either. But Hammer movies do come out again. Periodically, you'll get not perhaps a run of Hammer movies, like a season, but you'll get Dracula Risen from the Grave, or Scars of Dracula, or The Gorgon will come out somewhere around the country. Will play one of these movies, and again, it won't be from a restored cinematic print. It's going to be from someone bringing the Blu-ray of it in, but it still works. It's going to look great-ish, you know. So, folks, we've discussed the dwindling attraction of the cinema, except when something really big has captured the audience's imagination and there's a groundswell of people. A franchise movie, The First Omen. Oh, well, I was there for that, and I've reviewed that extensively, and many others, and the Halloween Blumhouse stuff as well. Again, huge but lackluster, and as far as I'm concerned, and other stuff comes out which gets people. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Despair, whatever, pile of shit that was, which was truly god awful. Bad Boys 2. Did Bad Boys 2 play cinemas? Not Bad Boys 2. Bad Boys Drive or Die. Fucking whatever it is. I don't know. I don't know. And Deadpool and Wolverine, which I did go and see day one, and yeah, I loved it. It's curious that after the belly laugh, uproarious fun, I shudder to use the term riotous fun, with Deadpool and Wolverine, the UK, the very day after, got plunged into, well, the very day after I reviewed it, got plunged into utter chaos and anarchy and murders, most foul, and it robbed all enjoyment out of what was a great cinematic experience as well. But hey ho, the world moves in very, very mysterious ways. Reaching for this again. I just bought this bottle and it's going down. Sorry. My liver's speaking to me now. Sorry, can't hear you. Blah 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 blah. We've got atmospherics cutting in. Sorry, can't hear you, Mr. Liver. But I've got a message for you now. It's coming down now. So yeah, comment below. Let me know. What revivals have you been to? What films do you love to see on the big screen? What films have you not seen on the big screen that you'd love to see? There must be a lot of those. What films do you prefer to watch in the privacy of your own home cinema? Or again, let's not go back into the land of the Orioles. And what films do you like with the cinema audience? Oh, a crowd of people. Yes. And that horror films really, really work. You get the electrifying silence. You know something is going to happen. Every single person is, apart from the odd dickhead. They always get one of them. But everyone's in a mesmerised silence on the edge of their seats, and then, you get it. You cannot beat that. You cannot beat it. And certain films, no matter how many times you've seen them at the cinema or at home, still maintain that magic, that quality. Alien, of course, is one. Halloween is another. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is another one. And of course, the big one, the granddaddy, Jaws. Jaws works every time. And Jaws comes around again and again and again, and it will do, because next year is what? What is next year? Yeah, 2025. Yeah, it's also the 50th anniversary of Jaws. The 50th anniversary. I'm always a bit like, hasn't it already been 50? Because I'm a person that was born before Jaws came out and saw Jaws when it first came out. And I'm 55 now. Am I 55 now? Yeah, I am 55 now. And so it's been in my life. I've lived throughout its entire duration, and even beforehand, you know. So, and I might even go beyond it. But so to see that working its magic on people year after year, decade after decade, it never dies. Jaws will live forever, and its 50th anniversary is going to be huge. So I know a lot of things are planned around the world, and they're trying to get the whole Martha's Vineyard thing sorted. I know that's gone through a few rough seas, shall we say, and hopefully everything gets sorted out. But one thing you can guarantee is that next year, for its 50th anniversary, I'm going to do a lot of Jaws stuff. And Jaws gets shown at screenings where the audience are floating out in the water. And they're tethered up, and it's a screen, and they show them at night as well. Oh my God. And in the first few of those in Texas and, oh shit, where else was it? I can't remember now. But around America. And they did it in Wales as well. And they had divers, like in America, they did it in Wales as well. divers were going under and pulling people's legs, and, like grabbing their foot, and all that at pivotal moments. And fucking hell, that is a way to watch it. It really is. But I think they did it in Wales anyway. But they've shown it a lot since on these sort of watery exhibitions. But they haven't done the diving stuff as well. Obviously, people were fucking having heart attacks and stuff, as you would do, wouldn't you? You know? Oh dear. The canvas for Alien is right there. And the canvas for Lethal Weapon is right there. And the canvas for Jaws is right there. I would see Lethal Weapon again at the flicks. I would see that again. So that day one, that blew me away. Would I see Gladiator again at the flicks? I don't know. I saw that. Oh God, no! I saw that double figures at the flicks. It's just, I know it's too big. I don't think I'd do that again. I would see Fury Road again at the flicks because that's an adrenaline rush from start to finish. And I would see Escape from New York again, definitely. Definitely. Folks, right, I'm going to go before I swig the entire bottle. So, in the meantime, and this ever let's dredge up old movies and thrust them on the big screen. Because why the hell not? In between time, please keep it kilted, keep it Celtic. I'm going to see you all. Oh, Universal movies, the old Universal creature features. They do play occasionally. You do hear of The Creature from Black Lagoon or Son of Dracula playing, or even Dracula Bela Lugosi. You do hear of these being played somewhere, but I always hear about it after the fucking event took place. I'm like, ugh. I'd love to see some of these creaky old ones. You could do a double bill because the movies are on for like sometimes 61 to 65, maybe 70 minutes. So you can have two movies. You have two classic old creature features, two old Universal monster movie perennials, and have an intermission in between. You know, and you'd still be home in time for tea. It'd be great. I'm out of here.